Hello, beautiful people. How are you? This is just going to be voice today because there's windy, stormy weather and I'm not going to depend on internet connection. And funnily enough, I already recorded a half an hour podcast. And then I found myself kind of tuning in and going, you know what? Everything that I said, it would have been fine. It would have been useful, I'm sure, in some way. But actually, what we're needing right now is a lot more vulnerability, a lot more humanity. And I feel like I try to arrive to these podcasts, these episodes, these recordings from a vulnerable and authentic place. But I'm also aware that sometimes when I do these episodes, there is really something that's channeling through me. And there's a higher wisdom, or there's an experience, or there's a knowledge that gets to come through. And then sometimes it's also just like, what is this human experience? You know, the raw and the real and the vulnerable human experience. And in that, there's also wisdom and knowing and experience, right? So I just felt called to re-record and to share this morning, or whatever time it is for you as you're listening, just this lived human experience. And this lived human experience right now is rather intense, hey? There's a lot going on, and there's, two sides of the spectrum right now where one side actually feels like this huge influx of just beauty and expansion and love and higher consciousness and awareness and compassion and this heart-centeredness. And at the same time, on the other end of that spectrum, there is this death cycle of letting go of fear, anxiety, imprisonment, restriction. There's the crumbling of the identities and the structures and the forms in which we've been in and familiar with, even if it hasn't made us very happy or if it hasn't served us. But there's a crumbling of it. And I think it's collective and personal, and it's macro and micro. So a lot of people are having a lot of emotions come up. There's a lot that is coming up to the surface to look at, to let go of. And so the theme of today is let it go, let it go, let it go. So let's dive in. This is Corinne Bloom, and you're listening to Raw Conversations. So I was sitting here talking about, how we're letting go of this construct of fear and how we've identified with it. But my personal experience right now as just a humble little human being with this great vast soul that it's residing within, that is just really feeling into how, there's so much that we're going through right now. There is so much that we're going through right now. And on a personal level, I'm still in this transition, and collectively, we are still in this transition. And it sometimes feels like it gets worse before it gets better. I think one thing that we are being invited and welcomed into, even if it doesn't feel very welcoming, is to feel. Because when we've been in a construct of fear, it's very hard to sit and stay with our emotions when we're in survival mode, because we're basically just focusing on, how do I survive? How do I cope? And we can see where that's gotten us, right? And now the illusions are starting to crack. And the stilts that we've been living upon, thinking that it's a sturdy foundation, are starting to break. And it can feel terribly destabilizing, because what you have known, even if it hasn't been true and real and authentic and for the good of us, it's crumbling and it's collapsing. And we like what we know, even if it doesn't serve us, more than what we don't know, even if it would serve us much better. So there is a destabilization that's happening right now within the constructs of our reality. There's the ground is literally shaking beneath our feet in some places. The volcanoes are erupting, the storms are storming. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of movement to let go. And I can find myself getting really philosophical. It's like, nope, just keep it human, Corinne. Keep it human today. As within, so without, right? And so if there is this interconnection, then we can look at what's going on outside of us as a reflection as what needs to happen within us. And so a lot of what we're moving through right now is letting go of identities, letting go of belief systems, letting go of even memories that tie us to the past, memories that keep us as a certain person, as a victim. Like, this is all what we're letting go of right now, is the paradigm of fear, the archetype of the victim, and the identity that we are powerless, and that we are to be fearful and to be scared, and that we need to be kept safe. And one thing that I will bring in from the recording that I had previously done, because the image came in very strongly, is it's like we've been placed in a playpen. Only it's really not all that playful, because when you're placed in something, when you're placed in a kind of box or a kind of, a fenced in something that can be locked, that does not create safety. It creates confinement. We think, place the baby in the pen because it will be kept safer so that it doesn't get into danger. But what it does psychologically is it creates this, I am safe within here, and out there is scary, or out there is dangerous, or out there I'm going to get in trouble. But what it also does to the spirit is, I am not free here. I am confined here. I have to stay within a box, within the fence. I have to I'm being locked out of my freedom. And then what that turns into as we get older is we have to fight for our freedom. We have to fight for our rights. It was nothing that we ever needed to fight for, because freedom is within. Your liberation is within yourself, and is within a choice to say, I am free. But all of these things that aren't even, sometimes they are tangible. Like, we do live in a society where, things are caving in and it appears to be very restrictive. And sometimes our emotions and our memories and our wounds can feel very real and tangible. But most of the time, it really is just something that is, you can't put your hand on it, right? You can't touch it. So it's a thought or a feeling that is keeping us either feeling small or imprisoned or frustrated or hurt, pained, angry, frustrated, sad, in grief. It's something that we're responding to within ourselves. And I'm finding myself again in this transition of needing to get myself out of a place that cultivates actually a lot of anxiety, because it keeps you in this vacuum and in this kind of quicksand that makes you feel like you can't get out, and that anything out there is a little bit scary, because here is very safe and is very predictable. And I think it's a good metaphor and example for what a lot of people are feeling to varying degrees, no matter what your external circumstances are. But when I look at like this mountain that I hate so much, okay, what is it showing me? What is it teaching me? There's this energy here that says you can't go out there. You can't be free. Stay here, stay safe, stay small. And what does that do? It kills your spirit, because it's like living in a playpen your entire life with the softball, right? The softballs that you can play, and everything's soft. All the edges and the corners are padded. But it's no way to live life. And we're in this moment right now of letting go of all of the things that keep us feeling imprisoned. It's a feeling, it's not an actual prison. It's something that we've agreed to within ourselves to go, yes, this imprisons me. And often, it's not conscious, right? I'm imprisoned by my past. I'm imprisoned by my family. I'm imprisoned by my ancestors. I'm imprisoned by the belief systems that I'm in. I'm imprisoned by the feelings that I'm running away from. I'm imprisoned by the thoughts that scare me. All of these are prisons that we make for ourselves, that we consent to unconsciously. And so we can't blame ourselves, because part of it has been by design, on a societal level. But then we create those within ourselves, right? Outside, inside, macro, micro, they're constantly bouncing off of each other. And so I find myself in this state of anxiety of like fucking third time that I'm trying to get out of this place that makes me feel so small and so imprisoned and so trapped. And I'm having these reflections around me that feel like, oh God, that feels like a dead weight. This feels like an obstacle. And like, what is it showing me? It's showing me like, Corinne, you have to find the courage within yourself to break out of the construct of the indolence, of the anxiety, of the fear, of the limitation, of you can't do this and you can't go there and that's too scary. And it comes to a choice point of what kind of life do I want to live in? Do I want to live in a world that fear rules the roost? Safety, the illusion of safety keeps you small. Or we want to live in a world where we're free? Because we are free. Our soul is free. And yet our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts, our projection to the future of the what ifs, our reflection upon the past of, well, that's what happened, and so that's what could happen again, or this is what's limiting, or this is the ball and chain that's holding me back, and the story. All of that can feel so damn real, right? All of it can feel so damn real. And yet we have this choice point to go, yeah, but how do I want to live my life? Do I want to live it in fear? Do I want to play it safe? Do I want to believe that the world is terrible? Or do I want to see it as, yeah, the shadow is coming up so that we can let it go, so that we can stop believing in it, so that we can stop feeding it, so that we can stop making that our reality and our lived experience? And instead we go, wow, I'm a free, infinite, immortal spirit. And I'm here having this crazy experience. Yes, it's the school of life, and I'm here to learn, and I'm here to grow and evolve. And I'm also here to play, but not play within the confines of a frickin' playpen. I'm here to experience myself in this visceral experience of being human, and to explore and expand through it. The way that we break down the walls of our prison, like I'm feeling imprisoned right now because I can feel that the anxiety is coming in. I can feel the like, fuck, I'm doing this on my own still, and I don't have a single masculine figure in my life. I don't have a father. I don't have a husband or partner. I don't have a brother. I have no masculine force in my life that's like, hey, I'm the representative of that masculine for you, and I'm here to support you from that lens of the masculine. I have so many women in my life, wonderful, amazing, glorious women, my sisters, my soul sisters. But it's a very different energy. And so I've had to learn to be the inner masculine and the inner feminine, which of course we have, but it's like I've had to be the inner father and the inner mother, which of course we need to, right? This is the fucking irony of it all. We need to learn how to become the inner masculine, the inner feminine, the inner father, the inner mother. And yet, because we're having this third dimensional human visceral experience, it's also nice to have that external reflected, let me re-say that, the internal reflected by the external. And so, yeah, I go into the story of like, I'm so fucking tired of doing this alone. I'm so fucking tired of having to go into my masculine to like go, take action, be courageous, go out in the world, do this, book this, figure that out. And the feminine in me is just like, sit in the void, Corinne. Sit in the fear, sit in the anxiety, sit in the loneliness, sit in the void. Can you stay? And when I stay and all those feelings and thoughts get to feel heard and seen and felt, They quieten. They quieten because what amplifies them is the story that we attach to them, is the projection into the future, it's the comparison to the past. It's the story, but the story is really just an illusion because we're not who we were in the past, and what we are in the future we don't even know, so how can we anticipate it? And all that ever is here and now, and whatever is in the here and now, whatever feeling, thought, whether it's beautiful and joyful or scary and terrifying, our job is just to be here, feel it, listen to it, sit with it, love it. I've had such a maelstrom of emotions come through me over these days, and it's still here with me this morning. And yet when I can drop into the tenderness of it, and when I can face it with compassion, there's warmth, there's gentleness, there's softness, there's being. And when I come back to that place, then it's like, okay, I can do this. And maybe I don't need to know how. And even though, yes, I need to book another damn Airbnb, which I hate, which I hate. Like, what if I just dropped into it and know, like, okay, with every moment that I meet my experience in this life, I'm going to be okay because I'm here with myself. I'm in my I am presence, and my I am presence is loving and infinite and unconditional and compassionate and immortal. You know, we have so much fear of death. We have so much fear of being pained and hurt and wounded. And that's what's coming up right now for review is like, can you let that go? Can you let go of the victimization? Can you let go of that construct of fear that has been presented to you as safety? Oh, here, go into the playpen. Look at all of these things to play with. But don't come out. Don't come out of the box. We're breaking down and shredding apart and smashing illusions, boxes, crates, constructs that have kept us small. We've been in the amnesia. We're waking up. But the way to wake up is you have to feel. So here I feel confined by my anxiety this morning and last night. And what alleviates that is like, wait, what story are you telling yourself? What box are you placing yourself within? How are you letting fear influence you right now? What if the world wasn't scary? What if it was this playground with no fences where you get to just go out and explore and experience yourself? But Corinne, look at all the constructs. Look at all the authority. Look at all this. This you can't do. You can't do that. You can't do this. You have to do this. You have to do that. Do we? Do we? If I bring it down into the micro, like my mom has a certain set of perspectives, and I can see sometimes they come from a place of fear, and that influences me. And sometimes I find that I get really scared and I get really cautious. And then I go, well, wait a second, those aren't mine, but I can let it influence me. Or I can say, no, those are hers. I can see that with compassion. And I can come back to myself. What are my beliefs? What are my perspectives? What are my desires? How do I function? What's my design? Which is different to her design, right? Not better or worse, just different. It's no different when you zoom out into the macro. Society says you need to do this, this, and that, and the other, and you need to feel scared of this, and that's a threat, and this is how we're going to make you feel safe, and you're not your own authority. No. I can choose to say, fuck off. Thank you, but no thank you. I can come back to, how do I trust myself? How do I trust my own inner guidance? How do I trust that I am being guided? How do I trust that I'm an incredibly powerful, creative being? How do I trust my life? How do I trust my infinite spirit? How do I trust my feelings and my humanity? I trust it by showing up and saying, I'm here. I'm here with love. I'm here with compassion. I'm here to listen. I'm here to witness. I'm here to be with you. And in that presence of both our higher self and our human self in connection and in relationship with and to each other, we can begin to let go of all of these threads of stories, the narratives, the identities, the archetypes, the constructs, the belief systems, the ideologies, the philosophies, we can let go of the fear. We can let go of the fear. We can let go of the fear. We do not need to live from fear anymore. And here's the crazy irony is that as you let go of the fear, it can feel scary. And you just go, okay, this is something that is deeper than me. It's primordial. It's ancestral. And yes, it's been a matrix that we've been placed within for, some say, millennia. But can I remember who I am? Can I remember that I'm a soul having a human experience? Can I remember that my soul self is infinite and immortal and that it is divinely connected to creation itself and that nothing can intercept or interfere? Nothing. And that even fear can't kill me, but I can choose out of free will to see it as my master. Or I can choose to say, you are not my master and you have no authority over me. That nothing, in fact, has authority over us. Other than our own soul and creator itself, but even that authority wouldn't be the correct word because we have this connotation that authority is something that is to be feared. And what we're waking up to is our own inner authority that is wise and clear and direct and loving and compassionate and beautifully divine. So I'm sitting here in the maelstrom of my emotions, of my what the fuck am I doing and how am I going to do it? And I'm scared. I'm scared right now and I'm tired. I'm tired of doing it alone. And then I was going to say I dig into myself. I dig deep into myself, but actually I realize I don't even have to dig anymore because all it is I just feel into my heart. And that is the direct highway to my soul. And then I see the light come in and I feel the energy of source, creation, God, divine. And I feel that the light is around me and I feel myself bathed in love. And I can still feel the human part of me that's going, help, I'm scared. I don't know how to do this. I don't want to do it alone. But that we're held in this bath, this waterfall of warmth and light, like this golden, beautiful elixir by source energy itself. And if we listen, we're reminded always, you're not alone, you're not alone, you're not alone. Even though it can fucking feel like it, right? It can really fucking feel like it sometimes. This morning, I do my meditation every morning. I sit up and I tune in. And I always ask if I have a message from my higher self. Does my higher self have a message for me? And I kind of tuned into that. And then I just felt like, okay, is there any other entity, benevolent entity or energy around me that has something to share? And I didn't hear anything because I got kind of distracted. And so I came out of the meditation. And then when I put my feet on the ground, there was this little, my daughter had found this on the ground like a couple years ago. It was a little, I don't know what to even call it, but it was the word angel, like a little copper thing that said angel. And there's a little loophole on it. So she put it, a rubber band through, basically an elastic band so that I could wear it as a bracelet. I have not seen this thing, at least in the last year. It was probably crumpled up with some of my jewelry. I have no idea how it could have landed at my feet by my bed. But when I saw it, I smiled and I said, okay, thank you. That's the energy that's around me. That was my angel saying, we're here. We're here. You're not alone. You don't need to be scared. We know that you feel scared right now. We know that you feel overwhelmed right now. We know that this human experience sometimes is overwhelming. But you're not alone. That's an illusion. We're here for you. So, things like that happen when we are open and willing to receive, and when we come out of the state of fear, because when we're in fear and we're in survival and we're just trying to cope, and it's very hard to feel our feelings. It's very hard to kind of I don't even want to say see logically, because yes, that's a part of it, but it's hard to just feel our humanity and our divinity in that moment because we're literally just trying to cope. And that as an entire construct and paradigm and archetype and identity is what is dying right now. It's what we're letting go of. And yes, in the crumbling, it's scary because your identity to it and your attachment to it and the story that you have with it is all falling away. But we were never meant to be living on stilts. We're meant to have roots in the ground. So all of the illusion is crumbling down, and it might be scary because it might feel like, oh, well, but that was my home and that's how I felt safe. Yeah, but you weren't free. You were in this stupid playpen, you know? That's all crumbling so that we can actually come back into ourselves and we can plant roots and understand that we have always been safe and we have always been free because it's who we innately are. So all we can do right now is just be authentically who we are. And authenticity doesn't mean that we're perfect and we have all our shit sorted out. Authenticity is that I am essence and presence that says, I'm here in my truth. Whether I'm feeling scared or anxious or terrified or in grief or in hopelessness, or I'm feeling joyful and happy and grateful and appreciative and expansive and in love, and it doesn't matter. All shades and colors are embraced. All shades and colors are welcome. We're here to just be real, and to be real, you have to feel and honor by acknowledging what is true for you in this moment. But here's the trick: don't attach yourself to it. Feel the fear, feel the anxiety, stay with the feeling, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Notice the story, but let it go. Like we can snip that thread. It's a thread of an old story. There's this beautiful film that I wish it was an animated film. I wish I could remember it because it's so beautifully, beautifully done. It's a children's film. Oh, I'm not going to remember the name. But the brother has to go on a journey kind of through the underworld to find his sister before she dies. And he comes across this man that has, or this being in the underworld that has all of this hair, really, 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 really long white hair. And every thread of hair is a story. It's a memory. And so he's like trying to go through all of the hairs to try and find what is the memory that unlocks something to show him where he has to go to get this thing to save his sister, right? It's a whole kind of hero's journey. And I just thought the analogy of that is so interesting because it's like the memory of the hair, these lines of stories, the stories of all time. And there's something that we kind of romanticize about stories, right? But there's also some stories that we can snip. There's some stories that we can let go and let them be a thing of the past. And there's some stories that we can rewrite as our past, because sometimes our past stories imprison us. And they keep us wounded, and they keep us victimized, and they keep us afraid of moving forward in our lives because we're afraid it's going to happen again. And anything in life, reality is completely influenced and affected by our perception. So if we perceive it differently, the reality changes. If we perceive our past memory in a different way, the memory changes. Nothing is fixed, nothing is stagnant. So we're in a time of rewriting. We're in a time of letting go, which doesn't mean, oh, you lose yourself, you lose your past, you lose all of this stuff. We never needed to hold on to it anyhow, because all there is now, and all there is here. And you can acknowledge and embrace and even give thanks to your past experiences and memories for making you who you are today, but not if they keep you from being who you are becoming in the future, next moment. So anything that imprisons you, let it go. Anything that is bringing you into pain, feel it, let it go. Anything that is causing you suffering, acknowledge it and let it go. All we're being asked to be and do right now is be here authentically. Feel the feels, but let go of your attachment to it. Let go of the identity. Let go of the confines of the construct that you have built around you and that you have consented to, whether consciously or not, which is probably unconscious, and set yourself free. but you do it by way of feeling everything that you've needed to feel up until this moment. Once you get the emotion up and out, you don't need to hold on to the story anymore. It doesn't hold the same kind of significance or meaning. You don't need it. So we're here to ironically liberate ourselves from the illusion that made us believe that we were never free in the first place. We're here to tear down all of the judgments that said you don't get to feel. You don't get to be human. You don't get to be scared. But here's the thing, we're going to scare you shitless so that we can confine you in the name of safety. Fuck off, I say to all of that. Fuck off to any way in which you don't feel free. You are free. You are loved. You are infinite. You are immortal. You are expansive. You are powerful. You get to be you. You get to be you. So the invitation today is any way in which you feel like you are in a prison, whether you feel like that prison has been placed because of what's going on a third dimensional field right now, or that prison is your wounds or your past memories or your current situation. Be with it, feel it, listen to it, acknowledge it. I see you, I hear you, I feel you. And then you get to choose. Is this how I want to live moving forwards? Or do I let go and profoundly trust that I'm being guided, that I'm bigger than this, and that the very point of this is to break free from the cage? You have the key. The very point of this transition right now is to recognize that you have the key to the cage and you get to set yourself free. So any emotional suffering that you're feeling right now, feel it. Feel it. That is the way to let go of it. But not on the outskirts. Oh, I'm angry at this. I'm angry at that. I'm pissed off at this. No. Underneath it, you're sad. And underneath that, you're hurt. And the hurt causes pain. And what pain needs is to be felt, to be loved. And then it gets to go away. It just... Whew. When we don't feel it, we hold on to it, and it keeps on replicating, and it keeps on building on the story, and the story builds the identity, and the identity creates a reality. And there's a patterning in that. We're coming out of the matrix. Whether it's our internal one or the external one, they're one and the same. We're breaking free. Know that you're not alone. Know that the way out is through. And it's not even about getting out. It's about expanding open, letting the petals of the rose open and allowing yourself to shine as the bright light that you have always been. I'll leave it at that. As always, take it or leave it as feels right for you, and loving you from afar. You've been listening to Raw Conversations with Corinne Bloom. Thanks so much for showing up, listening in, and being a part of the conversation with me.